Hello and welcome to my review of the 2021 Trouble on Tatooine set. The set is age 7+, it's given the number 75299, and it features 276 pieces. There are 3 minifigures, one being Grogu, Baby Yoda, or the child, the Mandalorian, with thankfully his new Beskar armor, and a Tusken Raider. Looking at the top of the box, you can see the 1:1 scale minifigure we're getting here, with the beautiful new armor. We'll get into that later on. And to the side we have this nice box art. And at the back, nothing too out of the ordinary here. We just see all the play features, and that's it for the box. Now let's get into the instruction manual. For the instruction manual, you can see the usual Lego lighter page colors. And here you have 56 pages with 29 steps in total. Now moving on to the minifigures of the set. Here are all the minifigures lined up. I'll go through them one by one now. Here is the child, or Baby Yoda, Grogu. Of course, very cute as always. Normal, nothing changed since his last appearance, or appearances in the Razor Crest and his own buildable figure build. So just a regular Baby Yoda. Next up is the Mandalorian, with finally the new Beskar armor. Absolutely beautiful in my opinion. You've got the leg printing, of course, and even shoulder printing. Now, you really don't see this very often, so this is really beautiful in my opinion. It's just amazing that they got that on there. His regular cape, of course, with back printing underneath, also in that metallic color, like the rest. This minifigure also happens to have 2 of the Mandalorian's signature weapons. One, of course, is his rifle blaster. And now, finally, they also added his regular blaster, his smaller blaster. I personally was, missing that one in the Razor Crest build, but now they've definitely added it. And I think it's a great addition to the minifigure. Perhaps the only disappointment which comes with this beautiful minifigure is the black minifigure head that still comes with it. Lastly, there's the Tusken Raider minifigure. Nothing really too out of the ordinary for this figure here, except for, of course, this beautiful head. This mold is just amazing in my opinion. It's really detailed and accurate to the actual Tusken Raiders. But other than that, it's just a regular figure, back printing, leg printing, all normal and great. On to the actual builds of the set. Here you can see there's 3 builds in the entire set. I'll start with the speeder. This is Mandalorian's speeder. You can see here, I really like how they added a lot of detail with as little Lego bricks as they had on the sides of the set. Right here in the middle, I would say it's really well done. The only thing to complain about there is this lever thing is really flimsy. Whenever you want to touch the or grab the speeder, you want to grab it right here, right? It's like the middle point of the speeder. You would like to grab it here and then speed drive it around. But this part here, I just feel like it's every time I grab it at the point where you would like to grab it, it always, you see here, like it displaces this part. There's actually not that bad, but yeah, it displaces that lever every single time, and that is quite annoying. So I guess you have to like hold it right here at the more like at the front. But other than that, not really many problems with the speeder. You can see here, this design features these longer parts which can like move about a little bit. At the bottom, you see 2 clear parts to kind of like give the effect of it floating. Not really doing much there, but it's there, which is nice. At the back, it's a great back here because first of all, you have this backpack just for looks, obviously very nice though. Held in place by those little things. I was scared that they were just gonna put it on there without anything holding them in place and they would just fall off immediately, but no, they're quite sturdy on there. And then this part is actually a pouch for Baby Yoda. and you can just place him in the pouch. And let me just, there you go. And then he's just in there really safely, really nicely. I really like how they added that in there. Really goes well with the build. I love that they included it just like in the show. Next up, there's two clips at the left and right side of the speeder, and you can see here I just made use of them by just putting both weapons of the Mandalorian right there. I'm happy that there's two of them, since the Mandalorian has two weapons. And that's pretty much it. Of course, you can, like, you know, these are movable, so you can move them into place when you're putting your Mandalorian on there to hold on to them. He can definitely hold on to them if you want to. You know, make him seem like he's driving it. I would say the only inaccuracy there is from the show. When you put him on there, it's just he sits way more like leaned forward, if that makes sense, like so. But when you actually put him in there, you can see he's more leaned back than leaned forward. But that's a minor thing. You can't really get the most accurate thing ever out of Lego, so not really a big complaint from me there. So overall, a great speeder. Even this part where you sit the Mandalorian on there there's two studs, and then one part is like tiled off, so that the legs of the Mandalorian don't get stuck in there whenever you're putting him inside. And you also get a little bit more space here. You know, two studs there. Maybe you can, like, if you want to put Baby Yoda on one of these or whatever, you can do that too. We're going to be looking at the tent of the build, or at least I think this is supposed to be a tent, since in the show, you know, the Tusken Raiders have these tents. This tent is, well, as you can see, there are a lot of gaps in it. I personally don't dislike it. I think it's actually quite a nice design, and I think I prefer it to if Lego would have just made this like whole cloth piece surrounding the whole thing. I think this is actually a better solution to that. I think it makes it look more full, more complete, if that makes sense, even though it's not quite complete if you see all the gaps. But overall, I think that's quite nice. Of course, here you see all of these joint pieces, so you can adjust it if you want to. Like, you can make it a little taller if you really want to, but I'm just going to leave it as it should be. And at the top you have this weird piece here. I don't really know what it's supposed to represent. I think it fits well with the build. No complaints there. Just, yeah, I don't really know what it is. And then, of course, to get access to the entire tent as like a playing, like as a play feature, I guess you could say, it opens up like so. Inside this open tent, you can't really see a lot of things, just this little plate there and this pot, which I find quite a nice feature with this little bone. It just kind of wiggles freely there. So if you're going to pick the set up, just beware of that. But other than that, nothing really to see inside there. See, it just fell out as I was closing it. But, you know, what can you do? It's not really a bad thing. And then, of course, outside you have this little piece of like sand, and it has this fireplace. I think the fireplace is really nice with all these stone representative pieces and the wood being represented by this piece with a fire inside it. I think it's really nice design. Simple but effective, in my opinion. And I'm sure you can see that little clip there behind the fireplace. I'm just going to show you what that is for. And from my understanding, this is used for the Tusken Raiders, like whatever this is, like not really a walking stick, but, well, his tool maybe, I don't know. But yeah, this thing right here, you can just clip in there and it stays in there. And finally, the third and final build is going to be the ballista, or at least I would call it a ballista. I think this one, especially this one, is really well designed. Maybe not quite, you know, quite accurate to the real thing, but it looks really kind of like cinematic, if that makes sense. Really cool build here. It has this little, whatever this is, I don't really know a lot about these kind of things, but yeah, this part right here, it has these two top parts in between, or surrounding, actually, the spring-loaded shooter, which, by the way, if you want to shoot it out, it has this silver. I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've seen this. Maybe not. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time we've seen a silver spring-loaded shooter bullet, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's beautiful. It matches the set really nicely. Obviously, it makes sense with the build, since, you know, they do shoot this coloration of projectile in the show. This ballista also has these string-like things right here. They're not really strings, but they are a little bit like bendable, like rubbery in texture a bit. So that helps, at least with making it seem like it's, you know, supposed to be a string. They're just connected right here to these little modified studs, and I think it serves the purpose really well. I mean, it looks quite good, at least for Lego's sake. It looks accurate enough, in my opinion. Then you have these movable pieces here. Don't really know what those are for again, but you know, you have that. And then what I find a little funny is this tiny little gun as a handle for the whole thing. But you know, it is useful for anybody who wants to play with it and then make this Tusken Raider just hold it here at the thing, and at least then you can get some play out of that. And also, looking at the bottom of the set, we can see 3 adjustable, movable feet, I guess, for the ballista, which you can just stand right like so. But you can also, of course, adjust them as you like. You know, maybe you want to have him sit a little steeper, or like deeper down, higher up, whatever you want to do, you can do it. So that's also a nice feature, in my opinion. Just you have a little bit more control over how you want to display or play with the ballista. Finally, to wrap up the review, what do I actually think of the set? Well, I think, even though it's pretty much a must-buy just because of the new Mandalorian figure with his new armor, it still offers you quite a bit for $30. I would say enough for $30 build-wise. I mean, the speeder, it looks beautiful. I think it looks accurate enough, and, well, I mean, it has this pouch. Everything about it just looks quite detailed for the size. And the other builds, the ballista looks great design-wise on display and while you're playing with it. And the tent, well, while it's still, well, maybe not the best it could be, since it's just half a tent, really, I still think it's a good build. So do I think it's worth the $30, or is it even worth buying in general? Absolutely. I think it's worth the $30. I mean, essentially you're getting 3 pretty good builds here. You know, design-wise, function-wise, you know, and of course also an amazing figure. I mean, you can't really deny it. The shoulder prints and the new armor look really, just even that alone justifies the whole set. But if you're not just looking for the figure, it's still a good buy build-wise for the money. So if you enjoyed this review, you can leave a like down below. Thank you so much if you do, and thank you for watching.